this is the second clip, my Machine Multiverse 23. I'll just talk about this machine while I disassemble it, since I got a working tape for it. So, for example, the main concept of this machine is just that I want to build something that has repeating elements, like a lot of machines from the past few years right now have. So, one thing is that there's this motor here. It's a stepper motor, with which I can specify the angle of its rotation and the speed of its rotation with this Arduino card over here. This is the Arduino card I have. I bought this just for this machine, even though this is not the first machine I built with an Arduino. Probably the first you've seen from me though, because I didn't release it. So, well, I figure I should let it run for one last time. So as you can see, the stepper motor, depending on the buttons under these tracks, they go left or right. At first I want to make a sign that flips up whenever these goes down, so that you can actually see if it's going left or right. But, well, time limitations and stuff. I'm kind of busy this one. So, anyways, this under this track here. So under this track here, this is the hinge, made completely out of, well, not completely out of Lego. And this is the circuit board. Okay. So you can see here, there are two buttons. The blue and purple wires go to the Arduino's analog read pins, which will detect a high signal, and based on the left or the right signals, it will activate respective loops that lets the motor turn left or right and then back.
This first clip right here is all going to do with this corkscrew connects rod right here, which I got off eBay. It corkscrews through these little holes right here. And the goal is pretty simple. The goal is basically just to have a rotating track where the ball goes in, and then from its own weight, it'll start to spin and corkscrew around. And as it goes down, it'll eventually be able to latch onto the magnet. I still haven't figured out a good way to do the mechanism, so it's going to be a little tricky releasing this right now. But I'm going to try to see if I can get it to work. Let me see. Put this in here. Did not work at all. That's great. Let's try again, because it's fun to try again. I still have to figure out how to get all the connections and stuff to work smoothly, but this might work. Nice. That looks like it worked. I also have a little shock absorber type thing down here to like slow it, or more like of a slower downer. I don't really know what a good word for this is. Lever with weight I have at the bottom that allows it to slow down as because it builds up a lot of speed as it's corkscrewing down, because this thing weighs like 800,000 pounds of sheer machine force. One of the issues with this clip that I'm starting to notice now is that it requires a very tall height, which is fine. I mean, I have the materials to build tall now. I mean, I have these boxes and stuff like that as crates, but it's a little bit of a nuisance when it comes to a screen link, because it means that basically my entire clip is gonna be elevated, which I guess is also fine, but it's just it's gonna be kind of weird. But maybe it'll look okay, because I have to do my transitions higher up. I mean, I could just do a view out of it from like way back here, and that would probably also work. I don't know. I will think of something, and if I don't think of something, then you'll never see this. Actually, no, you will. Today I mentioned that I got this spiral connects rod on eBay, but I never really described how it works. Basically, inside the holes of these little gray pieces right here, which may look unfamiliar, and that's because they are the adapters for this rod. There's 3 little prongs inside that are kind of shaped like boom, boom, boom around the circle, and that is what latches onto the spiral and allows the spiral to spiral down. Normally these pieces are supposed to spiral along the rod, but in this trick I'm using the rod as an actual sort of screw motion to screw downward and spiral downward into those connectors. So that's how the actual rod spirals, and then just the fact that it's very heavy is what allows it to spiral down easily. The reason it's able to work in the first place, you might have wondered how it actually triggered when the ball went into the cup, and it's actually very interesting. So there is a simple little rod lock right here, and this rod is wanting to be pulled back by this little lever here, and this off table or off block weight here is pulling it backwards, but it's being jammed in place initially. The only thing that can set it out of place is this track being balanced, because in the initial position, this side of the track, which has the weight on it, is resting on it. And so it's the heavier side of the track, and so that's what's jamming it in. As soon as the ball goes into the cup, the track actually becomes balanced, and this rod is able to be pulled back because it's no longer needed for the support of the track. The track is then being supported by the spiral, except then the spiral obviously starts spiraling and sending it slowly downward. So that's how that works. How does the ball stay inside the cup? Well, there's 2 really interesting things. One is this little dab of hot glue. You can see that is actually essential to it staying in. It's actually very important that it's on the left side because the track spins clockwise, and what that means is that the ball or the track is spinning towards the right, and so it's jamming the ball into the left side of it. I mean, the ball will stay inside normally as is. You can see that it stays inside pretty easily, but it's able to also come out pretty easily. And then the second reason is quite straightforward. It's just centrifugal force will keep the ball in after it starts to spin faster. This is day 1 of me working on my second Machine Multiverse clip. So far, I've basically just placed a dice down on the table, but I'm not referring to this dice. I'm actually referring to this one right here. Honestly, I'll just start off by trying to demonstrate this. It'll probably fail, and obviously my hands are shaky and everything is crazy, but let's see if this works. Came unglued. Yeah, so that makes me very upset, because if that happened, that means it came unglued in one place, and I don't like gluing this. But yeah, the first thing I did today was put these little barriers and tracks in, these custom black and red tracks in, as a way for the ball to go down, which looks pretty cool. And I'm pretty happy with them, and they're self-contained within the cube itself. I'm still upset. And then the lever, was this so difficult to make? I spent 3 hours! 3 hours! Why? Why is it so hard to make a simple weight distribution lever that's in a resting position and then it flicks up? I've made like 20 before. Why was this one so hard? And it's still not done. It's still not done. Also, there's an off-table string here. Ha 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 ha. But you can't find it, but I can't find it. Apparently I can't find it. Here it is. Wow. Wonder if that's gonna need to be replaced. Maybe. In the initial state of the dice, what I wanted to do for the path was have the ball roll on top of the dice, then it goes off to the side, the dice unfolds the track, and then the ball rolls along the track. Seemed like a simple thing in my mind, but it's a lot more complicated when, at least for me, when I did it in person. One of the complicated things was having a track that shifts off to the side after the ball runs along this front side of the dice. This track has to shift back, and it does, like that. And right now I just have it pushing a black ball here, which I will probably replace with a connection that will be a little more instantaneous. But I haven't really decided on that yet, because I don't... The tipping mechanism for the dice is another one of those tricky things that's hard to get exactly right, and it's hard to also position right as well, because these things don't really lock on to the sides of these squares super well. If it's in the perfect position, then it works perfectly, but it's hard to kind of get it into that position. In terms of the connection for the dice finishing up and releasing the ball in its second phase, I actually can demonstrate that right now, so long as it doesn't break on me again. I have these little Domino Rally orange things in place to sort of transfer the path over to where it needs to go. So I can demonstrate that right here, which is a nice little satisfying way of getting the ball over to the path. As you can see, the path is not the most satisfying sometimes. It's a little inconsistent. Sometimes it'll work perfectly. That time it was perfect, and other times it'll kind of get stuck along the paper. It'll make it to the end about 90% of the time, but it only looks satisfying about like a third of the time, so that's probably going to be an issue when it comes to filming. I also added a little bit of the end transition here with these cups that are going to fall over like dominoes. The main issue I was running into is I'm trying to knock off a weight here to pull this string, but when you do weight releases that are where there's a height difference between the weight dropping and then pulling, it can have too much force sometimes, and it can risk things coming apart, and I don't want that. So what I might do instead is have a string wrap release, because those are traditionally much smoother, and I've used them before, and they usually look a little bit better. All right, the clip is done, and I'm ready to start filming now. The clip itself looks like this. I guess it looks surprisingly a little bit empty when when it's fully reset like this, but this is what it looks like. The paths are fully finished. I decided to do a little lever trigger to do a string release. I replaced the weight drop from yesterday. It has a string loop that gets unlatched by, there's a little rod that flicks out, which gets flicked out by this lever right here, which has this on the end to give it plenty of weight to unlatch it. Heavy weight on the end to start the flipping chain. The way that this lever over here actually works to flip it this way, when it's heavily weighted here, is there's a little flipper underneath that gets pulled by an invisible string, by some fishing line. It's already being pulled heavily, so as soon as there's any pressure on this, that'll get pulled out and it'll flip up. And that's pretty much everything that I've done. The start and end transitions are in, so hopefully all goes well.
Hello, hi, welcome to the third clip behind the scenes for the Machine Multiverse clip I made, and it's a very flexogram focused trick. As you can see, it starts off as a really long track that comes apart in the middle. Each track kind of clips together, then the third one kind of goes up and kind of moves out of the way, and it's just a big like transforming thing that hopefully was very impactful in the video, where it didn't feel like a really slow like thing moves, that moves, that moves. It's kind of just like a big like whoosh kind of thing. I don't know if that really explains it well, but like it's very fast and very catches you off guard, you know? So that's the first thing that I worked on for this clip. Because the second ball, then this one somehow triggers the lifting mechanism. And then it'll roll and do something. Then these two will meet in the middle, just like that. And then a last ball is going to roll across, and then so this is the first test of the release mechanism for the white ball that will end the screen link clip. So that will go there, and there we go. Okay, hello. I added a second track here, which is going to trigger the lifting mechanism for the middle track. I've not tested it yet, so hopefully the timing is right, because I can't put like some kind of lever here for this ball to like hit something, because this first ball has to actually go through first. And since it's a ping pong ball and ping pong balls are kind of terrible, anything it'll hit will greatly decrease its speed and it might not make it to here. So we're gonna have to do this. So here we go, let's do a test. Alright, so now I'm working on the intro trick. For this screen link clip, it's not going to come in with a Hot Wheels track like normally. It's going to come in with this custom thing. It's just a launcher with some cars attached to it, and me and Tricky Life decided to do some kind of special transition for our clips, so this is what he came up with. And the concept for this one is that it's going to come in from the side, and there's some very discreetly, well, no, it's not really discreet, but some magnets here that kind of blend in with the launcher. It's going to come in, attached to this, and then something's going to pull it and twist it, and then this is going to launch a ball to hit something, or the ball's going to go up here, and then that's going to start the whole clip. Pretty soon after this, I made the double string pull that pulls both of the flexograms at the same time and equal distance, and this makes it so that they both meet in the middle at the same time. The double string pull technique was from Dominoes vs. Machines round 8 during the track launching trick, and I don't know if this has like some commonly accepted name or anything, but like it's really useful and really great for tricks like this where two things have to happen at the exact same time. At first, this mechanism was going to be a ribbon that would connect both of these two, and then this track would actually go down and pull the ribbon downward so that both of them would meet in the middle. This string, or this connects piece here, kind of meets in the middle of the string, and it gives it a nice, smooth, very even motion. That I built was actually the first part that happens in the machine. It was the tube and launcher trick at the beginning, and getting the launcher to spin and to launch was pretty easy. It's just like a lever and a spinner, but getting the ping pong ball to land on the track above it was really difficult because it's such a violent launch, and the ping pong ball decided it wanted to just bounce everywhere and not want to comply with anything that I built for it. So instead, I went with this weird like track pendulum that doesn't really let the ball go through, so it's kind of like a gate, and the ball kind of gets stuck in that little compartment area there, and then the domino lets it go and lets it free, kind of acting as if the ball is some stationary ball or something like that. It's pretty unusual, but I think it works well, and I don't know, I just think it's kind of funny. So I don't know how to end a behind the scenes video for this, so I'm just going to show you a bunch of these fails from the beginning part of the machine where I tried to slide the rolling launcher magnet thing, and it barely worked, and pretty much all the fails were just from this. So here they are. Enjoy. Thanks for watching. Bye bye. See you later. No.
So over here, it's going to be the ending. Nice little, I hand drew that. Pretty cool, right? So here's how it's going to work. So, I'll just reset it. So, this is holding it up, as it is right here. And there's going to be like a little piece of paper here so you don't see what it is. Down here, there's going to be a little tutorial system with this. Now, I was going to use a ruler to like hold it up around here, but it wouldn't look very good, and it covered up the logo a bit, so it's not what I want. So, basically, here's how it's going to work. Hopefully this works. Yep. So anyways, over on this side, and this is going to be one of the newer tricks, which is a a flipping little course thing. So the ball will go all over here and knock over a little weight, which tips over another seesaw, which will cause you to go like this, and then when it hit this little thing, it breaks apart. Like this, and then it flips over, and there's this ball to go across. It stays together with that little piece of blue tack right there. So, and then when it lands on another seesaw, it will teeter this little lever and release this ball, like this. Yeah. Ball's gonna come down from over here, and then over here, and knock this big marble, which will teeter over the edge, and cause this thing to start tilting. Now with the positioning of the tape right around here, with the way that it went down, this goes upwards, which will release the marble going back that way, and into the track, which is now been aligned to match the trajectory. As you can see, working marvelously. Also over here we have another little contraption. Now this is a recreation of something that I made a long time ago, in something I never got around to finishing, but smaller. So ball will roll along here, and this will teeter backwards, and it will no longer be on this ledge, so it will go out onto this little track, and then when the ball goes over to here, the weight will lift this up, and then this track will no longer be supported, so it will go up. Okay, you know what, I was going to show you, because I'm bad at saying things with words. Yep, like that. I got this, the nondescript mint container working. As you can see, I cut a little hole out and stuck this little plank inside so they can go out. And if it's the correct one, if it's the correct part. Okay. Yeah, that happens. I'm just gonna like put a plastic sheet. So you can just let's go here. Look, wait. Come on, like that. That happens when this ball rolls down and knocks this and goes into here. It releases this little thing that's holding it up. So then the weight will bring it up, and it will go around again. So let me show you. Like this. Yeah, it's going to go like this. Then it goes around again, and then goes on to a little track underneath, and knocks this over, and begins the finale. As you can see, move back, this is a big one. Definitely my biggest one so far. No, not really. There's a bunch of stuff that I haven't recorded. But this is definitely one of the biggest ones I have done in ages. So yeah, it is a momentous occasion. Probably brought like one of those like party streamers, like more like that for the ending to celebrate after all.